Thanks for joining us today on Fresh Outlook. We've talked about a number of interesting subjects, and now we're going to put you in the hot seat. Do you have a plan for retirement? You know, back in 1960, more than half of Americans could answer that question, and today, though, you're more likely to hear, what retirement? Unless you work for the government, you're not likely to have a plan through work, and the majority of Americans seem to be counting on Social Security. We have some guests here to tell us exactly what is wrong with that and what we should be doing. Let me introduce to you Jim McCarthy, who is a certified financial planner and managing director at Directional Wealth Management. Eric Meermann is a certified financial planner as well and portfolio manager with Palisades Hudson Financial. And here to talk about the psychological aspects of our failure to plan, Dr. Bart Rossi, who is a political psychologist. Thank you both for coming here and joining Dr. Rossi and me today. You know, some people say as individuals we just overspend. Some say, well, you know what, in 2008 the housing market collapsed. Nobody has money. Companies all changed their policies. Where are we supposed to get money for retirement?
Well, for me, the most important thing to do is to get started early. The sooner you start, the less you have to save as you go along your time.
Yeah, I understand, like if you're in your 30s, maybe 15% of your income can do you.
It would probably be more than enough if you're in your 30s. If you're in your 20s, obviously it will be lower. If you wait till your 40s, well, then you're going to have a bit of a struggle.
I'm trying to teach my 11-year-old about compound interest right now, and I wish they had this in schools because it's so important.
And that's the magic part, is the compounding. You know, there are some programs that are helping schools now. PricewaterhouseCoopers and the Morris County Chamber of Commerce here in New Jersey are doing an educational program going into the schools and teaching them things about how to make a budget and how to save and what is interest and compound interest. So.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea, because if you teach people early, you don't end up, you know, like my age thinking, holy cow, I wish I had. Do you find a lot of people come to you and they really haven't planned ahead?
Sometimes. Generally, really, retirement planning is a budgeting exercise, and it's best to start early and learn those habits early. But really, it's about creating money to save and making it a priority, especially for young folks that are looking to either buy a house, pay off the credit card debt, pay off the student loans. It's like, how do I prioritize this? But if you put it first or second, you will, at least, as Jim said, get started.
Well, Dr. Rossi, what's the psychology behind our failure to plan?
Well, I think, you know, how to combat procrastination, you know, how to do it. And I think I really like that.
And immediate gratification.
That's that too, yeah. I like the word habit, you know, changing habits, you know. And I also like what you said about starting in schools. It reminds me of the whole thing about mental health in America. You know, we need to start getting rid of the stigma. Well, in this case, we have to get rid of this procrastination, this inability to save, and actually make it something in school where kids and families learn about this stuff and about compounding interest and what it means to save, and that will get us past some of the procrastination and the me generation, you know.
Yeah, and I wish we could go back and start over, but here we have a whole generation. We have all these millennials coming along and people who have not saved, and we do live in a society where we want what we want it now, credit's readily available, way too much of it. My son is 11, he got an application for a credit card, pre-approved. He wanted it, I said no. But I mean, we got 75 million baby boomers entering into retirement. So many just don't have money. So to me, this is somewhat of a crisis.
It clearly is. Most people haven't saved enough, and you know, obviously there's the concerns around the Social Security system, which makes up the majority of most retirees, and even will make up make up the majority of most soon-to-retire people's retirement income.
And we so count on that. And I'm not sure if that's well-placed trust.
I think for the near term, it probably is.
Near term meaning 5 years, 10 years, 20?
20. I think they'll need to make changes as time goes on to keep the system viable for the next generation. I don't think there's anything. I don't see anything that's going to take it away at any time in the future.
Eric, you seem like there's something on your mind.
Yeah, just not to belabor the point, but coming back to budgeting, it's never too late to start. And what I often say to my clients is, it's the big things. You know, a lot of people talk about budgeting, they say, cut out the $4 Starbucks.
You hear that like from Susie Orman and all those experts?
You can drink all the Starbucks in the world. You're never going to fund a retirement with $4 a day. You got to look at the house you're in. What kind of car are you driving? Are you leasing it? Are you buying it? Do you have 2 cars when you could have 1? The big purchases are really what baby boomers should be looking at to cut back and get ready for retirement.
The other thing I would add is that you need to write it down. I mean, a plan is great if you say, you'd said, save 15% and you'll be okay. Well, that's not a bad rule of thumb, but that
It
in and
depends
of
what
it,
you earn, too.
well, that's a factor, but it's one thing to say it and even to do that, but as Eric just pointed out, you really need to write that down. What do we need? Where are we today? What would we like? Where would we like to be tomorrow? And here's how we do it now, and then what do we need to change to get us there? And that's both saving goals, how much am I going to save, as well as spending goals. And if you don't write it down and you don't keep track of it, it's hard to stay on a plan. So
Yeah, and I think it's all about thinking clearly, as you guys are saying. Really, you have to think clearly about what to do, how to do it, and what reward you will get out of it. And I like the thought about big ticket items. Some people will rationalize and try to save at the small end of things, and it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. As you say, it doesn't really make a difference. So you have to think big in a way, and you have to actually think the right way to save and get past the procrastination and past this desire not to do anything.
This might seem silly, but one personal thing we've done in my house, excuse me, is we try and look at it, you live below your means if possible. That's the one thing all the wealthy people tell you. I lived below my means, so I saved money. But if you also look at it less of denying yourself something that you could have, and more of recycling, reusing, being environmentally friendly, having a smaller footprint, it all makes so much more sense. It contributes to the overall well-being of the planet and to your financial bottom line as well.
Absolutely, and I think the house point again is the houses have gotten so much bigger.
Well,
Do we really need all that
all
space?
your money goes into your house.
Sure.
Do we need that much space in the houses that people
But
are
interestingly, Eric, it's a bit of a catch-22 in that when you get to retirement, sometimes what's happening to a lot of people now is, yes, looking at the size of your house, and my mom's in a 4-bedroom, 3-bath colonial all by herself now.
Yeah.
But on the other side, you're seeing a lot of the sandwich generation, as they call us, having to support older children. I mean, children who are back in, adult children, I should say, not older, adult children, as well as potentially aging parents. And that sometimes creates another issue related to the housing.
Yeah, but if you can combine households, then
and that's
you're
the best way
saving
to do
again.
it. Exactly right.
And to make a point on education, when you look at the top tier colleges, they cost $65,000 a year. And if you're not getting scholarships or other aid, maybe there's a school that's equally as effective as the top tier school at providing an education, but it's half the cost. And that would be another thing to look at for someone that's both trying to take care of parents and fund education.
And community colleges. I mean, there are many ways to go to community college today and save a ton of money, and then graduate there and then go to another school. There's a lot of ways to think differently to really help your bottom line, but a lot of people are involved in this ego. I want to send my kid to the best school no matter what, and it ends up that the kid and the family are in the hole for a lot of money. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work pragmatically.
A lot of parents don't even ask their child if they want to go to higher school learning. They just assume and push them that way, and then it's a total waste altogether. So yeah, there are a lot of things that you could do. I have a statistic here, I don't know if it's true or not, that the average family the average worker rather, makes about $25,000 a year. See, that doesn't seem like a whole lot to live on though, because I know rents, for example, New Jersey is not cheap. I live in Pennsylvania. That's not cheap.
Yeah.
We're paying anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000 a month just for housing, without any other bills. That money's gone before you paid for anything. So it's really hard sometimes to figure out where you find that money, where you make those cuts.
College. I mean, to that point, college is becoming something that's not affordable for many people, and I really feel that's a real problem today. You talk about retirement and money issues, but when college becomes unaffordable to most folks, what does that say about us and our country and where we're going? That's a whole problem that you guys probably could address.
I think you're seeing some, Dr. Rossi, some changes. Number one is more community colleges. Students are going there, and the credits are now transferring to 4-year schools, which wasn't the case many years ago. I've seen locally that some of the vocational technical sort of schools have really come a long way from where they were back when I was younger. in terms of they're really doing a great job of educating those students. And the other thing is you're seeing a lot of these schools offer online training.
Yeah.
You know, online, even the big schools, Yale, Stanford's got a
And they're what they call
wonderful-
MOOCs, the massive online open courses.
Exactly
Yeah.
right. And more parents are not aware of them and should really consider them. I mean, not that I want to begrudge anybody the on-campus experience, but it is a potential solution to keep the cost at a reasonable level.
Well, do you guys actually get questions like this when you do financial planning and how to help? I mean, is this
All the
one
time.
Yeah, because we think of it as
Education funding is one of the huge questions that comes
Really?
up, and
Yeah, I would
generally
think.
it's the younger folks, but
Yeah.
but grandparents too. They want to know, should I use a 529 plan, and that's something that we often recommend.
Well, we're running out of time. So I want to kind of wrap things up here with some real good, solid advice for people as to what you can do now. And I think you've offered some already. You know, different options for how you spend your money right now. And do you need the community college? Do you need a bigger house? What else can you tell people? Like, your company doesn't offer a retirement plan. What should you be doing?
Well, you should be funding a retirement account on your own then. I mean, the limits are much lower than in a...
If I come to somebody like you, do I pay you to do that for me, to set something up, to consult with me? How does that work?
Generally, both Eric and I are fee-based advisors, so we would generally charge our clients a fee to help them set that up, to implement that plan. But yes, you know, the key is you got to, put it on paper, have a plan, put it on paper, get started early, or as early
So
as
if I
possible.
put it on
But
paper,
it's
I can
never-
come to someone like you and you can say, all right, here's what I see and here's what I suggest.
and exactly.
Having a financial plan is super important, as Jim said. And I would say one takeaway is take full advantage of the company match offered in your 401k. If you have a 401k at work and they match the first 6%, make sure you at least do the 6%, because then you're getting another 6% of your salary, basically for free.
And if they don't have a 401k, ask them why not. Couldn't they
Exactly.
establish one? Why not?
And this is why I think people who are procrastinating need these guys. They need folks to really tell them the way it is, and I think that's one way to get past it, actually.
Well, the 401ks are great because they force you to save. If you're saving it on your own, you sort of have to take it out of your checking account, and like most people, when it's in your checkbook, it's almost gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whereas the 401k comes out before it hits your checking account. So yes, I'm with Eric 100%. Put
Yeah,
it in
another
your
thing you
401
hear is pay yourself first.
Yeah,
Put
even if
that
there's
money in.
even if there's no match, if there's a company-sponsored plan, you should use it, because it's forced savings and there's a higher contribution limit than there is in a traditional IRA. or
It might
Roth
seem a
IRA.
little tough to do all this right now, but it's worth the time and the effort, because it's going to give you peace of mind and hopefully a comfortable life as you get older and you don't have any other way to deal with this. Thank you, gentlemen, very much for
Thank you.
being
Thank you.
here. And Dr. Rossi's going to hang around. We're going to be back in just a moment with our lightning round. You won't want to miss it.